Hello, everybody. I'm so excited we are here. Um, it's not the best circumstance, but you know what? I hope that your mindset and your attitude is that you are in it, you are staying in it, and you're not giving up. Welcome. Hi, Stephanie. Thank you for being here. The courage to be here. Um, I am hoping to make this as useful as possible. We are only going to be here for a little bit of time, not a long time, even though how long we are here will strictly depend on you and how much you want to engage on this topic. Please understand that a lot of the information I am going to share here today is meant to help you craft a plan. I think that one of the most challenging parts is, first of all, getting over the shock. But once you get over the shock, it's like, okay, so now what do I do next? Especially if you've had an incredibly successful journey in phase one and you feel like I did everything right. I did follow all of the instructions. Um, how did I not? How is it that I don't have anything to show for this? Um, so I'm here to kind of help with some of those self-limiting thoughts and letting you know that redirection is a real thing in the profession. And it's very, very, very possible that what is happening to you, first of all, you're not alone in it. And that what is happening to you right now that feels like it's happening to you could quite literally be happening for you. Because when you connect with residents that match where you want it to match super bad, and you hear about the time they've had, you are going to pause, reflect, and be really, really glad that you ended up where you are. It is 7:02. Again, this is meant to be very productive for the people who are serious about being here. I'm not going to give it much more grace period. In one more minute, we get started. I appreciate you being here and taking the time to be here. Um, you still have to go to rotation and do all these different things. But I'm very happy that you are here, and I'm very happy that you're still in it, because I'm telling you that there's nothing to it. It is another opportunity. It is 7:03. We're gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and get started. Um, this is your playbook for phase two success. If it's your first time hearing my voice, seeing my face, finding this YouTube channel, welcome. I wish you were under different circumstances, but we are here now and we're not going to get stuck in the past. My name is Saleh Traore Uwalaka. I am the founder and CEO of ResiPreps 360. This is a program that I created because of a pain point I personally experienced when I was applying for residency. The type of guidance and mentorship I wanted somebody to teach me how to use all this information so that I surface confidently to maximize my chance of success in the match, right? And so this program is, if that sounds like that's what you're looking for, then you found the right YouTube channel, because one of the things I'm going to put out there to you today is how much resource currently, right now, as we speak, exists on this YouTube channel that is going to help you. But I want to make sure that you know where to find me, and that for the next 20 days, we are going to do this together, because a lot of the content and information that I'm going to be putting out in the next 20 days or so is going to be specifically and strategically focused on phase two, instead of how I've created and creating globally and focusing on phase one. And so with that, if you are here, I would appreciate a subscription, a thumbs up, a comment. Let me know if you found this valuable. This is how I know what to put time and energy into and how to tailor what I am creating, because it is a service driven program. And I do it because I love to see people succeed and accomplish their goal. I want you to understand what phase 2 is today and the application process. So we'll look at timeline and creating a well-structured CV and elements of an LOI. These are the three things that are going to be most important when it comes to your understanding of where you are now and how you surface in the match. Knowing what the timeline is so that you understand the level of urgency, but also critically evaluating your letter of intent to see, is there an opportunity for me to improve this bad boy and toss it back out there to see what happens? Listen, acknowledge what just happened and move on. Do not throw yourself a pity party and wrap yourself up in your emotions and just get stuck there, because it's going to feel really good there to feel sorry for yourself, right? You're going to start telling yourself certain things about you. The most dangerous stories we make up are the narratives that diminish our inherent worthiness, right? We must reclaim the truth about our lovability, divinity, and creativity, right? This is one of my favorite quotes by Brene Brown. It is the stories we tell ourselves that are most powerful. Even though people think it's what they hear, even though most of us believe like it's what we hear about us, but it's how we take what we hear about us and then we turn that into a different narrative that we tell ourselves. Action is the antidote to fear. Think about anything that scares you. Think about anything that makes you uncomfortable. The only way that that feeling goes away, the feeling of fear and uncomfortability, is if you're making moves to combat the fear, right? So that's what today I want to do. I want to give you the tools necessary for you to make some moves so you can stand up to phase 2 and stand up to the match confidently. And I am so sure that, like, if you follow some of these things I do today, your chances of success are all but certain. Let's take some time to objectively evaluate phase 1 and how you went into it. It is very important that this conversation, you sit with everything and you think about what you did and what you didn't do. It could be really simple things like it was the clinical challenge. It could be really simple things like my CV could be better. It could have been things that were out of your control. Like these programs really wanted people that already had excellent and strong clinical rotations on their CV, not that it's upcoming. And you didn't have that at the time. But today, the candidate that you are, you've had all these heavy hitters and clinical rotations, and you can speak to the value that these clinical rotations have contributed to the candidate that you now are and the resident you're going to be. These things are important to point out and isolate because it changes the way you speak about yourself in phase 2. Whereas you were excited to do the AmCare rotation, but here you are telling a program that you want to do a PGY2 and AmCare, but you haven't even had an AmCare rotation yet. The conversation is now different. I am interested in ambulatory care because of this patient encounter example. And I realized that even as a student, I have the potential to make an impact and be a part of someone's long-term health journey, not just the acute phase, right? So if you are interested in critical care and you now have the crit care experience, you can tell a program specifically what about crit care you love. What about infectious disease do you love? And how has this frontline exposure to these experiences changed the way you think about your role as a pharmacist? What is the role of residency in helping you fine tune this observation and this revelation you've had? It's really, really important that you're crafting narratives around lived experiences, whether they are personal or professional. But the narrative here has to be about the lived experiences and the things that you've seen, you've done, and experienced, and how those are contributing to shaping what it is that you want to do. This is what we call clarity of purpose. It goes beyond just, oh, I want to do a residency because I want to be an expert and I want to. Clarity of purpose transcends that. It is imperative now that your clarity of purpose is well informed by your personal experiences, your professional experiences, and your natural talents. If you can blend those three things and present that as the reason why you want to become a resident and how you are going to greatly contribute to furthering any residency program's mission, you are more than 99% there. I really hope that you hear me when I tell you that. Those three things are extremely important as part of your debrief. Lived experiences, how are those informing your decision to pursue a residency? Have a clear statement that you can repeat with conviction and confidence around that. If any questions, don't hesitate. You're not interrupting me. Jump in the chat. Let's talk about it. Here's what you need to do. It doesn't matter if phase 2 is your first phase, you withdrew from the match at phase 1 and you're just coming in. It doesn't matter. You need to review the list of vacancies. You need to know what is still on the table, right? I believe we have over 700 vacancies across the board when we look at managed care, pharmacy practice, as well as community-based residencies, okay? Look at all of the vacancies. The question about how many programs to apply to. In the 8 years that I've worked with candidates through phase 1 and phase 2, 8, at minimum 6. But I find that that sweet spot tends to be around 8 in phase 2 for people that just come out with a lot of interviews, and then that maximizes their chances of a match. So think about that and see if maybe because of certain limitation, I'm limited geographically, for whatever reason, if you're limited and only 6 programs meet that eligibility, it's not a problem. It's not a bad thing. Go ahead and apply to those 6. But I would say anything less than 6, you're kind of just saying like, I honestly don't really see any programs here that I am overly impressed with, which I would be shocked by because there are some phenomenal programs in phase 2. And you're saying, you know, I'm cool if out of these 4 or 5 programs I don't match, I'm cool, but I'm not really interested in anything else that I have looked or saw out there. Emailing the RPDs right away. Today was a big milestone in your timeline, which we'll talk about in a second. But I think once you decide that you're interested in a program, email them. Declare your interest via email already, off the rip. Let them know, hey, I saw that you are in phase 1. I was in phase 1 as well. I unfortunately didn't match, but I am not deterred. I am not deterred by the outcome of phase 1. I'm still interested in doing a residency at a program that can help me become a well-rounded, confident, and competent pharmacist. I just wanted to let you know that I am looking forward to the opportunity to submit my application. You have to update your CV. There's no way around it. It looks really, really bad if you just recycle your old CV when we know that you have had experiences after that. It's imperative. It's imperative that your CV is up to date, because also, like, if a program finds themselves with an overwhelming number of applicants, they'll start nitpicking. They'll start looking for things that are super minor as a justification to eliminate you. So if everybody else in the application pool is going the extra mile and you're just going quarter of the way in the form of a CV, which is like an understood step 1, they can use that as a factor to eliminate you from the race. Just don't make this easy for them. Check all of the boxes. If you have questions about any of that, please pop in the chat. Let's talk about it. On the 19th, we all know what happens. The day after the 19th, forecast opened back up. And forecast opened back up for you to start being able to make edits to your application packet while we are here. Let's say you decide that, you know what, for my application, last time I used one clinical preceptor, one of my employers or managers, and the other reference came from the dean, or it came from my APHA ASP chapter advisor. Those letters of recommendation got you 4 or 5 interviews, which is great because that's a great number, and you'll see in a second why it is. But you figure like, okay, maybe I can replace one of these letters with an additional clinical preceptor because I've had an opportunity to actually do that rotation and that thing I said I was really interested in. Maybe that preceptor, if that preceptor is willing to write for me, I'm going to submit to them. You do not have to wait to have your references submitted for you to submit your application to the program. I hope that this is clear. Again, application submission portal open today. For example, if your letter of intent doesn't need any updating, if your LOI doesn't need any updating, if nothing changed on your transcript, maybe perhaps something changed on your transcript, like your GPA went up, for example, you might go in right now and try to get that transcript expedited. You do not need to wait for the transcript to arrive at Forecast for you to submit. The minute you are done with your part and the things you need to submit, you can go ahead and submit your application because the references and others, as long as they submit before the application deadline, the RPDs will get alerted when those application materials come in. I really want to stop there and make sure you guys understand what I'm saying there, right? The key is for all of your application materials to be in by application deadline. That's what the goal is. So if you have somebody who says that they're going to be a reference, go ahead and update your reference list. If you want to update your transcript, go ahead and put in a request to have the transcript overnighted. But the minute, like on your end, you update Forecast with all of the rotations you've had, you update your CV, you make edits to your LOI that you wanted, you can submit. Because guess what? Some RPDs, they're going to start reviewing before all of the other things they know are out of your control come in. This is where your communication skills are going to help you, though. You have to let that RPD know that you really just wanted to submit your applications early, but they can expect an updated reference to come in as well as an updated transcript to come in before the closing of application cycle. You have to submit, you have to communicate that to the RPD so that they know that they're not looking at an incomplete application and then you think that they're going to figure out what's going on here. Very important. Very important. Because let me tell you something. Before this Friday, people that have submitted today, they may get interview offers for next week. We don't have time for anything. Everything is going to happen in like 20 to 23 day window. Programs don't have 2 months to review applications and make a decision. They don't. Everything is going to happen fast. And so delay in submission because you're waiting for references or other, I would strongly recommend against that. As of the 31st, that's in exactly 1 week, rank submission starts. Okay? And then on the 14th, on the 16th of April, the rank submission closes. So from today, basically from this week all the way up until the 16th, that's the last day basically that you can interview anywhere because rank submission is that day. And then on the 23rd is match day. We have about a month at best to do all these things, right? Everything you did in phase 1, you have to do again. Letter of recommendation, CV, transcript, interview, you have to do all of it all over again. But my hope is that if you already had a really well-structured packet in phase 1, going through it again this time, edits take less time and they're much faster than when you have to do it from scratch. If you're a person who's entering phase 1 now and this is your first entry, I would hope that you did spend all of the time not in phase 1, preparing for phase 2. Okay? But that's your timeline. The other piece I think is extremely important for us to talk about is making sure you understand which category you're in. Which category of candidacy are you in? Because there are tiers in how you enter phase 2. In phase 1, everybody is the same. Nobody's done this before. But in phase 2, over 90%, 95% of people have already been through this process, and you each fall into very specific categories. And these are the categories. There is the candidate that's had more than 4 interviews. The candidate who's coming in with they had less than 4 interviews. And then there's the new candidate who's coming in. They have no frame of reference. They're brand new. So what should you focus on based on your category? If you had more than 4 interviews, you can be fairly certain that the problem with why you didn't match lies with your interviewing skills. I'm going to say that again in case I went fast. you if you can hear me still? I don't know why my desktop continues to do this. I am now on my laptop and I just need to know that you guys can hear me. Just comment in the chat or something, please, before I continue on rambling. Oh my gosh. This is crazy. Yes. Thank you. Yes, I can hear. Thank you. Okay, let's see. I'm on a completely different device, so I'm trying to get to the presentation. We were talking about the category of candidate that you are and how that impacts the way you resurface back in phase 2. Sorry, I'm almost there. Just downloading now. Let's see. Because there are parts of this that's going to be difficult to describe without the presentation. I appreciate you all's patience because I need to figure out why the computer is doing that when I'm live. Because, okay. So we talked about the candidate that had 4 interviews and now it's uploading and taking forever. There's the candidate that had 4 interviews. I can tell you with a great deal of confidence that more likely than not, the issue you have in phase 2, the issue you had in phase 1 had more to do with your interview than anything else. Because residency programs do not offer courtesy interviews, right? They're never going to interview you just to see or to do you a favor. That's not going to be the case. If they invite you for an interview, it means that there's something in your application packet that already tells them that they believe that you are already a good fit at baseline. And so when you get more than 4 interviews, you can confidently kind of say that, yeah, my application packet is good. I need to work on my interview. First group and category of candidates. The second group and category of candidate, or the candidates that have less than 4 interviews. So if you had less than 4 interviews, what you have to think about is that something in the application packet didn't click. Less than 4 interview, your application packet needs work. I always tend to think that you have got to start at the LOI level. Did you answer all of this to me? But we're going to keep going. We're going to keep going because I don't know why this is